Next on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Details on a new effort to encourage more young people to pursue a career in large animal veterinary medicine. Plus, how a little red book can make a big difference on your cattle operation. And we head west to the YOLO Land and Cattle Company, where the philosophy is take care of the land and the land will take care of you.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen with your host, Susie Ross.
Hello, I'm Susie Ross. Thanks for watching Cattlemen to Cattlemen. The resignation of Agriculture Secretary Mike Johanns leads our cattle industry news this week. Johanns has a long history in agriculture. He was appointed to lead USDA in January of 2005. He was governor of Nebraska at the time. Johanns was regarded as a strong advocate for the U.S. cattle industry, especially when it came to expanding global markets for beef.
Certainly we wish the Secretary the best of luck in any field he chooses to be in, but we in the cattle industry sure are going to miss him. He's been a great asset to NCBA, a great friend of the cattle industry and the cattle producers across America. He has certainly helped us in all our endeavors and been a partner in them, and we sure wish him the best of luck in any field he chooses in the future.
Johanns is expected to return to Nebraska and become a candidate for the U.S. Senate in a bid to fill the vacancy left by the retiring Chuck Hagel. Deputy Secretary Chuck Connor has been appointed acting secretary at USDA. One of the toughest issues facing America's farmers and ranchers today is rising land prices. We have more in this week's Market Watch.
Market Watch, brought to you by Pfizer Animal Health.
Joining us today is Randy Block of Cattle Facts. Welcome back, Randy.
Thank you.
Always good to have you here.
My pleasure.
You know, we often talk about how the operating costs like hay, corn, and fuel keep rising. But the biggest input of all for cattlemen is land. What trends are you seeing with ag land prices?
Well, we've seen a big increase in land values all across the United States over the last 5 years. And just in the last 5 years alone, ag land values have increased 70% in total. And when we look at grazing land costs, they've increased over 90%. So we have seen a tremendous increase in those values across the United States. Some regions a little more than others, as you'd expect, but that is definitely a big increase in values.
That's amazing. What factors do you think are driving that?
Well, there's a lot of things that are happening. We've got commodity prices that are moving to new and record high levels. We've had cattle prices at record high prices again here in 2007, and that's been the case over the course of the last 5 years. Increasing dairy and milk prices, hay stocks at the lowest levels they've been in 50 years, so hay values are extremely high. There's a lot of things that have come together, but I think when we look out here, the cheap dollar, the dollar at record low levels, the commodity bull market that we have in total, all that's spreading back to increased land values.
So does this really make it hard for the cattle industry to expand?
Well, I think it definitely has an impact on young people being able to get involved in the business. It takes a tremendous amount of capital if they were going out here to purchase land. So I think that does lessen the number of young people that can get involved. I think the expansion issue, the lack of expansion that we're seeing in the industry is a combination of a lot of factors. We've had drought in many areas over the last 3 years. I mentioned the record low hay stocks that we've had in the last 50 years. A combination of those things and some of the uncertainty with a lack of export trade, etc. I think that's what's slowed our expansion down.
Wow. Well, Randy, as always, good information. Is there anything else you want to add in before I let you go here today?
I think as we look out here and we just take a big macro view of what's going on in the market, we need to recognize that, hey, for cow-calf producers in the industry, the last 7 or 8 years have been the best 7 or 8 years that we've ever had in history. It's the most profitable run in the history of the cow-calf business, and we believe it's going to continue. Now, it's not without a few hiccups along the road. Obviously, we've got grain prices that continue to increase, and we think they'll stay elevated here for a period of time. But our market's not just here. We do have tremendous opportunities in other global markets. We've got a number of these countries that continue to grow their domestic income, And as they grow their domestic income, so does the demand for high quality foods and meats. So I think that will create more and more opportunities for U.S. producers here in the coming years. We may have more upside in here in a number of these commodities over the course of the next several years. I would say in a nutshell, we're in a commodity bull market.
Okay, there you have it. Thanks, Randy.
My pleasure.
I know we'll have you back again soon.
Thank you.
For more information, you can go to cattle-facts.com. It's time to take a look at one of this year's Regional Environmental Stewardship Award winners. Let's head to the Sacramento Valley in Northern California to learn more about YOLO Land and Cattle Company.
Tucked into the Sacramento Valley of Northern California, YOLO Land and Cattle Company was founded by Hank Stone in 1976. Running cattle on more than 7,400 acres at the home ranch. The operation today includes Hank's 2 sons and their families.
I'm very fortunate to have 2 sons who've taken to it so well and are very proficient at what they do. And I find that to be very rare in agriculture today, to have family members to continue the operation.
Our basic philosophy has been that take care of the land and the land will take care of you. And we want to have a sustainable operation that benefits the families that operate the land, it benefits the wildlife that lives on the land, it benefits the livestock that live on the land.
Through all of our efforts and our kids being here with us, it's given them an opportunity to learn about stewardship and to learn about the environment and how important it is and why we do it. And I know that our kids are starting to get it.
Working to be environmentally and economically sustainable, the Stones have built a diversified operation that includes more than 700 cows and hay and crop production. In addition, with major cities nearby, the ranch includes an agritourism division, and they've even developed their own beef jerky and honey products.
Each one of the family members brings something different into the atmosphere and into the business. We each have our strengths, and it is nice to be able to kind of be on the creative side as far as the marketing and the distribution.
With rainfall under 24 inches per year, the Stones have made extensive use of irrigated pasture. They reuse rinse water that comes from a local tomato cannery to intensively graze their herd and hold them off native pasture at critical times.
This year is probably one of the worst we've faced since we've owned the ranch, just because of the drought conditions. It's pretty tough when you don't have water to try to make these things happen.
To manage their rangelands, the Stones have added cross-fencing to implement rotational grazing. They've worked with Dow AgroSciences to develop herbicides to control yellow star thistle and other invasive weeds. And they've partnered with NRCS on a number of projects, including the restoration of native plants and the use of solar power to pump water.
Around here we have a drought 6 months of the year. So everything that's planted, the native trees and shrubs, have to have supplemental water through a drip system. And the Stones do a very good job of participating in our cost share programs to establish these native trees, these native shrubs.
We have been blessed with wonderful partners over the years, or we wouldn't be able to do a fraction of what we get done out here.
It's encouraging to see that things are evolving around these ponds, and that is actually increasing the wildlife density on the ranch.
Perhaps most impressive is the decision the Stone family made to place their home ranch in a conservation easement held by the California Rangeland Trust, meaning this land will always be a working cattle ranch.
That's probably something I'm the most proud of. I'm a land conservationist, great supporter of protecting ag land. So to me, that is the ultimate measure you can take to protect your property, is to put it in a conservation easement.
I think that it's going to save some of the better California rangeland and in areas like we are, close to population density areas, that to get tremendous pressure for development. And like I tell everyone, if we didn't do that, 10 years from now you'd see houses and lights all over this mountain.
Whether it's protecting rangeland from development, raising high-quality cattle, or sharing the story of ranching with visitors, it's clear each member of the Stone family is doing their part to keep the YOLO Land and Cattle Company sustainable, now and in the future.
Well, I'm proud of what my sons have done, the changes we've made, the things we're trying to do.
I'm very proud of what our family has done on the ranch. My dad and my grandpa and my uncle work incredibly hard.
And so my hope is to keep this place as a working cattle ranch and keep a viable working cattle industry that can support these type of ranches.
We are simply short-term tenants on this planet, and we have an obligation to leave the ranch in better condition for our next generation, and that's what this is all about.
The National ESAP Award winner will be announced at the Cattle Industry Annual Convention and Trade Show. It's taking place this February in Reno, Nevada. For more details, head to cattlemen2cattlemen.org. It's a growing problem in this country, the shortage of large animal veterinarians. Ahead, we'll show you how an animal health company and a university are working to reverse the trend. Plus, a look at how those handy little red books are made. But first, here's a look at this week's market summary provided by Cattle Facts.
Patience may be a virtue, but when cattle are down with shipping fever, you don't have time to be patient. And that's why Baytril 100 was designed specifically for first-line treatment of bovine respiratory disease, for use by or on the order of a licensed veterinarian. Extra label use in food-producing animals is prohibited. Ask your veterinarian for more information. When it's BRD, patience isn't an option. Choose Baytril 100, right the first time.
Our quarter pounder with cheese is made from 100% pure USDA beef. That means there's 0% anything else. That's what we're made of.
People have different views of what they think's attractive. And while a SelectVac tag doesn't do anything for this dog, it certainly makes calves more attractive to buyers. In fact, SelectVac calves attract up to $29 more per head. No wonder millions of calves have already been enrolled. Ask your veterinarian or animal health supplier about SelectVac, the premier branded preconditioning program, and raise more attractive calves.
Welcome back to Cattlemen. It's a problem that could have a major long-term impact on the cattle industry. The number of students studying to become large animal veterinarians is shrinking. But as we found out at a visit to the Kansas State Veterinary School, it's a problem both the school and a major animal health company are working to fix.
And there's a critical need for the education of veterinarians and recruitment of veterinarians into rural practice in the United States.
At Kansas State University, veterinary students get hands-on practice working with the animals they'll treat out in the field. K-State is home to one of the country's top veterinary schools. Professors there say they're working to face the nationwide large animal vet shortage head-on.
Now's a time of great change in large animal practice in the United States, and Kansas State University is at the forefront of that change in that at this college we are deeply investing in a program to support the education of rural practitioners who will be doing food animal as a significant portion of their practice. The reason we're doing this is in response to a national shortage of veterinarians in the United States.
One reason for that national shortage, a common misconception that being a large animal vet just doesn't pay as well as working in companion animal medicine.
There have been a number of surveys that have looked at salary and compensation for veterinarians. And there's a couple of things that I really like to encourage students about is for within the agricultural community, being a large animal veterinarian is a good agricultural job. It pays well and you get to live in a rural area. When we compare food animal and rural veterinarians with companion animal veterinarians in urban settings, again the salaries are very comparable and very good. I think it's a little bit of a myth or a misinterpretation to say that food animal veterinarians earn less than companion animal. That's not really what our survey data shows us.
Students agree.
I think a lot of it stems from, well, when we got into school here, there was a stigma around that if you were going to be a large animal veterinarian, you were going to work lots of hours and not make much money. And from what I've seen, the practices I've been to, that's not really true, but I think that's where a lot of it comes from.
Other K-State students say the shortage may be due to a real demographic shift.
The reason I think that there's a lack in large animal veterinary students is because not very many kids are brought up in the agricultural background anymore. There's more urban backgrounds, and so they don't feel as comfortable working on large animals because they haven't had the experience of working with them.
Another reason for the shortage? The high cost of earning an undergraduate degree and then enrolling in a 4-year veterinary program.
Now, certainly today is a very challenging time for students because the cost of veterinary school has an 8-year program with a 3 to 4 year pre-veterinary school program, a 4-year veterinary school program, and sometimes 3 to 4 years of postgraduate training if a student desires specialization. It's a very challenging environment because they can accrue debts of $80,000 to $150,000. So scholarships such as the one that Fort Dodge has devised are very important to give students more leeway in career choices.
But that's where Fort Dodge Animal Health comes in.
Well, Fort Dodge believes that education is the key to reversing that trend. And accordingly, in that vein, Fort Dodge has partnered, or teamed if you will, with the National Cattlemen's Foundation to provide the Fort Dodge Animal Health Legacy Scholarship Program.
Rick DeLuca is the Chief Operating Officer of Fort Dodge Animal Health. He says the Fort Dodge Legacy Scholarship is one way his company can contribute to the long-term health of the cattle industry.
Well, there's a great opportunity in the livestock sector which offers challenging careers where large animal veterinarians can make a difference. Fort Dodge Animal Health is committed in this effort in providing innovative products and services to help foster this partnership. An example of that and our commitment is the Fort Dodge Animal Health Legacy Scholarship Program.
Both students and professors at K-State agree motivation in the form of a scholarship would help students considering a career in large animal medicine.
The cost of higher education is increasing and veterinary schools are no different, so scholarships are a good way to help students make it through school. The important thing is it also illustrates that there's a need in this area of food animal medicine. So scholarships like the one that Fort Dodge provided are valuable for the students and also valuable for as they get out of school in helping decrease the amount of loans that they have to pay back.
Ultimately, the time and money spent to earn a degree in veterinary medicine leads to a fulfilling career with plenty of options.
The beauty of the large animal profession, large animal veterinary profession, is there's a lot of variety, and of that each person can get some of their personal career satisfaction in different areas. The relationship between the veterinarian and the cattle producer is a very important aspect of what we do in practice. We want to help them achieve their goals on the farm. We want to help the producer be able to make money economically and care for their cattle in the best ways possible.
There's always going to be opportunities wherever you go for large animals just because there's a lack of large animal veterinarians, and you'll put in some long days and hard work, but it's definitely you're gonna feel like you did a good job when you go home at night. You work hard and you put in a good day and it's enjoyable.
I would say someone considering wanting to be a large animal practitioner, if they really want to, they should just follow their dreams and do it.
Fort Dodge Animal Health, along with the National Cattlemen's Foundation, will be providing 5 legacy scholarships. 3 scholarships will be for veterinary school students who have chosen an emphasis in beef production. 2 scholarships will be for undergrad students enrolled in an animal science program. Our viewers can help. Just fax qualifying Fort Dodge Animal Health invoices to 1-800-330-4720. The company will donate 3% of sales to the Fort Dodge Animal Health Legacy Scholarship for a total of $25,000. Head to our website at cattlemen2cattlemen.org for more information. We'll be right back.
Your cattle represent generations of quality and commitment in your operation. As your calves wean and move on, they're a reflection of that tradition. That's why there's pre-sponse vaccines from Fort Dodge Animal Health. Prepare your calves for future respiratory challenges, including Mannheimia hemolytica and added protection against Pasteurella multocida. Pre-sponse and Fort Dodge, protecting this generation of calves so you can focus on the next generation of cattle producers.
2 100% pure USDA inspected patties are only the beginning of what make the Big Mac famous, and that's what we're made of.
Puree
Purina's wind and rain minerals are research tested and field proven to provide balanced mineral nutrition essential for cattle health, growth, and reproduction. They're highly palatable so cattle consume what they need when they need it. And wind and rain minerals special formulation resists the elements so they won't blow out of the feeder and maintain their palatability even if they've been wet. Wind and rain cattle minerals from Purina Mills, building better cattle.
Welcome back. Ranchers have been known to say, "I would rather leave the house with one boot on than be without my red book." Well, if you haven't seen one, a red book is a pocket-sized cow-calf record keeper, calendar, and address book, all in one. In 2007, more than 85,000 red books were distributed to cattlemen across the country. Geiger, a family-owned business in the state of Maine, has been NCBA's printing partner for nearly 20 years. Besides the IRM Red Books, Geiger also publishes the annual Farmer's Almanac. Last spring, we had a chance to tour the Geiger factory in Lewiston, Maine, and see how the Red Books are produced.
I've had several positions at Geiger. I've managed at one point or another the entire bindery. Right now, I'm sample coordinator as well as technical advisor for the company. I've manufactured national IRM for a good many years. The bindery is, we're a diary manufacturer and we do offset printing, and all our diaries, or the majority of them, are all section sewn, which is the best diary you can get as far as a lay flat for a writing instrument. So we feel we're on the high end of the diary manufacturing process. We in-house have very sophisticated equipment, pretty much state-of-the-art. Some of the equipment we have is actually some equipment that we had made in our prototypes of first-in-the-world equipment. We run a variety of different types of cover materials and different types of foil stamping. We feel pretty confident that we can almost manufacture almost every type of diary a customer would ever want. For a cattleman, it's kind of nice because it's weather resistant to a certain extent. It'll repel water. This particular cover material, we feel this is a good one for a cattleman to have carrying around with it.
The 2008 Red Books look just like this and are available now. You can go to cattlemen-to-cattlemen.org for more information on how to get your very own Red Book. We'll be right back.
Agriculture is a small portion of the population now, and if we're not working together, we're not going to get anywhere.
As our family, we cannot be in Washington, D.C. all the time, and I just couldn't live without NCBA representing.
They're looking out for our interests. They're there fighting for us every day.
If you got 1 cow or 2 cows or 100 cows, you need to be a member.
I'm a member of the NCBA because a long time ago, 35 years ago, I felt that I needed to know more of what my industry is doing. So I got started at the county level. If you're in the cattle industry, now's the time to join and let your voice be heard loud and clear.
You need NCBA working for you, and NCBA needs you. It's easy to join. Just call, get online, or talk with your state affiliate and sign up today.
Welcome back. We're continuing to enjoy the pictures you're sending from all over the country. Let's take a look at this week's Legacy Photos. send us your ranch and farm photos. To do so, head to our website at cattlemen2cattlemen.org. Next week, we'll have information on how to get the best value from calves. Plus, we'll visit another Environmental Stewardship Award-winning ranch, and as always, your news and market headlines. Thanks for joining us on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Be sure to tune in next week. A new episode airs every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern Time, right here on RFD TV.